Hello everyone, this is Tommy, and this video is going to be different than most, if that's okay, and it's going to be a little bit longer than normal. I try to keep my personal life and my family life a little bit separate. I talk about my wife and I joke around that she gives me a hard time, which she does once in a while, but she knows how passionate I am for comics and all my figures and whatnot, and she is my rock, and she is the most supportive person in my life, as well as my kids. But I've really kind of considered for a while whether I would ever share this, because I don't want to make anything about me personally, but I think it's for a good cause. So if you could bear with me for a few minutes while I kind of share something with you about my personal life. And we all have struggles, we all go through things. So this is certainly not to put something out there to prop myself up. I would never share this, but something was shared with me, and I think the messaging is for a good cause. So bear with me. But I was born with a hip disease, and I've had quite a few surgeries throughout my life, and it led to hip replacements, which a lot of people have. And at the time, they used a new type of hip. It was a metal on metal, which means it's a metal rod with a ball and it has a cup that was metal. And the reason why they did this is because it lasts a lot longer, right? Hips are usually created with like a ceramic ball and a metal cup, and you have to do revisions about every 15, depending on how active you are, 10 to 20 years. And you can only do a revision once or twice because they drill down your femur to put a rod, and if they have to remove that to replace it, you only have so much bone where they could kind of play around with that. Anyways, I tell you this because I did have my hips replaced about 15 years ago, and the new technology, the metal on metal, which they thought would last 40 or 50 years, so it was awesome at the time. What they didn't realize is that when metal is rubbing against metal, small little particles of metal go into your bloodstream. And unfortunately, the kidney is the one area that cannot handle that. And so I ended up having kidney failure. And I was on dialysis for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, and on a waiting list for a kidney. So the type of dialysis I did was called peritoneal dialysis, which allowed me to do it from home. So they insert a tube into your stomach, and then every day I would connect to a bag of like a saline, and it would go into your peritoneal bag, and it absorbs all the toxins since your kidney isn't filtering all of those out. And then I would have to wait about 4 or 5 hours, or I'd do it overnight. And in the morning I would drain, and you would see the color of the liquid different, and that's all the toxins that are helping your kidneys since they aren't functioning. So I did that, like I said, for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, and a kidney became available. My oldest daughter was amazing enough to go through the process to be a donor, but a kidney became available before she had to do that. And kidneys only come from two places: either a living person who is giving up a kidney, which happens, or a deceased person who on their driver's license said that they would be a donor. And in my case, it came from a deceased person who was willing to give up their organs to help someone like me live a more normal life. And so you never know who that person is. You don't know their sex. You don't know their lifestyle. You don't know anything. You just know that they were a match. And there is kidney.org and other groups. What they do is they receive these kidneys, and then they take people who are on waiting lists, and they match, and it goes to the person who is the best match, because they want the kidney to last as long as possible. And if there's several people, you're on a list. And in California, where I live, because the population is so large, it could take 10 years to get a kidney. And I was very fortunate that it only took me 2 years, because the recipient that I received the kidney from is the perfect match. Out of the blue, I got a letter from the hospital where I had my kidney replacement, and the family wanted to reach out. They didn't give any information. They didn't tell me who they are. They didn't speak about the donor at all, but they wanted me to know the type of a person that the donor was. So I've held on to this for about a month. It was very emotional when I received this, as you can imagine. I don't want to get emotional now, but I just want to read it to you because, excuse me, I think it's really important that it's really important that we check that box on the donor, because we don't realize that the people that we're helping. And again, it's a very personal matter, and I would certainly not push anybody either way, but I know I've had that on my driver's license since I've had a driver's license, and thank God that this individual did too. But I'm just going to read you the letter, and then I want to direct you to kidney.org if you have the feeling to support with a couple dollars. It goes a long way. It helps people in my situation. There's a lot of us that have kidney issues, and actually kidney failure is becoming quite a situation in the United States. A lot of it's due to diet, eating out, obesity, diabetes. A lot of these things lead to kidney failure. Also, drug use is a big issue. And so there's people that need help. And the only way they're going to get help is really through a donor to live a normal life. If not, they end up on dialysis, and there's a timetable on that. So anyways, let me just read to you from the family of the donor. It says, "Dear recipient, on behalf of the organ donor's family, we would like you to know that we are so grateful that you were able to get a second chance on life through receiving your needed organ donation. It's hard to believe that it's been 9 months since we lost our loved one. Just so you know, I've had my kidney for about 8.5, almost 9 as well. But knowing that his passing was not in vain brings us comfort as we continue to grieve. Your donor was a vivacious young man. His fiance and 2 children miss his smile and good-natured teasing. He was a hard worker and an excellent provider. He worked in various aspects of construction, and was quickly promoted to positions of supervisor over other workers. The workers under him always had nothing but amazing things to say about him. He loved the ocean, surfing, playing in the waves with his kids, digging his toes in the sand, and listening to the sound of the tide coming in and out. I had my surgery in San Diego, and this individual was from San Diego. He had such a generous and fun-loving spirit about him. He would go out of his way to help others and make sure everyone was included and having a good time. It's not surprising that he had the desire to donate his organs. He also left behind his parents, 2 brothers, their wives, multiple nieces and nephews. He was loved by all. At family gatherings, he was always found playing with the kids and making sure they were entertained. He was an excellent athlete, loving to play and watch just about any sport. Though we are beyond sad to not have his physical presence with us, we are choosing to cling to the good memories and knowing his love is always in our hearts. We hope you find this encouraging, that you might feel comfortable reaching out to us and letting us know a little bit more about your story. The journey through grief might be made a little easier by the scenic views into the lives he helped. May God continue to bless your life and health, the donor's family." And so my hospital is kind of the in-between between me and this family. And so I will be writing them back, because they deserve to know how grateful I am and my family is to be able to receive this kidney. But I thought I would just share this with all of you. Again, I don't post these type of things very often, but I think you should know that donating organs is a huge blessing to others who are in waiting, needing those. And on behalf of kidney.org, I felt like it was really important to share my story and hopefully encourage some of you to just consider that moving forward. And if that's not your thing, I get it. I completely understand. But if you have the feeling to maybe donate to kidney.org, it goes a long way and helps to support others that may receive the help they need, but maybe not be able to afford the lifestyle and the medication that will be needed for the rest of their lives. Just so you know, it's about $4,000 a month, and thank God I have insurance. But there is a timetable on that. It's very expensive. Insurance companies do not like to pay for the anti-rejection medication. So your help would go a long way. Hopefully that was okay for me to share this, and thank you.